Hello, world. It's Palimpsest Live, the International Art Alliance. We're around the world sending our art to each other around the world so we can make subsequent changes, annotations, painting over what we've already painted. In other words, a palimpsest live. And here we are. And today's panel includes Denise in Saint Jerome, Quebec, Canada. Hi.
Hello, and I am here with Rose on the other side of Canada, all the way in Chilliwack near Vancouver.
Hi,
Hi guys,
Rose.
here I am from Stolo Nation, and I'm gonna toss it over to Steph on the back in Canada.
Back in Canada, in Toronto, in a parking lot. Yay! Yep, Toronto, Canada, Ontario. Bam. Throwing it to Cheryl in Australia.
Morning, Cheryl here from north of Oka on the central coast of Australia.
From your
On the next
future.
day.
Yeah.
I'm Ross. I'm in Los Angeles, California, on unceded. I say this so often, and now I'm like blank. Well, we stole the land, unfortunately. But anyways, back in the original country of the Commonwealth, she's not here right now. It's Laura Spedetto. She's going to join us later to open up a box of a painting of a palimpsest live on this live today. So today we're going to talk about a certain kind of presentation, social media. We're just talking about shirts and clothes and comfort and how we sometimes wear our comfy clothes to paint in and stuff. Social media, it's like how we present ourselves to the world, much like clothes, but not nearly as comfy. Or maybe it is. Maybe you really love being on social media. I know, Cheryl, you've got some terrific social media presentations and ideas and stuff, but we're not all good at being on camera or talking about our artwork. And is this necessary to be an artist, to do social media, to be an artist these days? And tell me, what are you guys doing? Denise, you've got a huge presence too. You do a lot.
Yeah,
Rose, you
I'm.
doing more too.
I
Go on,
sort of.
Denise.
Well, I feel that it is necessary, but I don't want it to be because I really don't like it. I feel it sucks up so much of my time,
Hmm.
which is already very precious, and um, I just feel like it's a very big distraction that in the grand scheme of things, if I look at the bottom line, doesn't um, really give me as much in return as it if you look at the bottom line, like financially. And I know we're not supposed to say that as artists, but in all for all intents and purposes, I am running a business as an artist, and I need to eat and I need to buy my paints and the way that I invest my time. I need to look at that time investment and see how much of that time investment also brings back money that allows me to live. And I feel that a lot of the time right now is being sucked into social media and is not as productive, really. I feel that in that time I could be doing other things, painting, writing, I don't know. But on the other hand, I feel in this day and age, if you don't have your social media presence and if you're not active, then you're not being seen at all. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
So,
It's very,
Wait,
oh,
very.
so go ahead, Ross.
before you go on, Stephanie, I've got a question for
Yeah.
Denise. Denise, do you find that social media, your social media presence, has any bearing on people coming into your booths at the art fairs that you do?
Rarely. Like it has happened occasionally that I've met people who follow me on social media who tell me. It has happened a handful of times, but uh, most of the time, and I also don't feel that I have a lot of engagement with people on social media. Like it's not that I have like huge conversations on there, or people are commenting or asking me questions, even though I feel like I'm always open to people doing that, and I always try to engage when people do ask me questions. But I don't feel like it's giving me much right now. And maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm just not of the right generation to be doing it right. I don't know.
You know what? I have a couple of thoughts on that.
Yes,
So I find that for artists, the majority of our followers are other artists who are probably not going to buy our art, although it does happen. It has happened. But so I'm wondering, like, how necessary is it for us all to be on Instagram, all trying to get, find our ideal clients on Instagram? Or maybe is Instagram the right or the wrong social media channel? Is it the right social media channel? Should we be on like TikTok or only on Facebook? Or, I'm just thinking out loud here. And I know, Denise, you do a lot on social media, but, you do a lot with your newsletter and stuff too. So I'm just, I've actually pared back quite a bit because I started working full time. I just don't have the time to do it. So I post, when I feel it's absolutely necessary, just because, like Denise, it doesn't really affect the bottom line that much, right? Or at all. I mean, maybe a little bit, and it's also very hard to measure.
I think
Well,
also,
I do feel. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
sorry, I think also it depends on what outcome we're expecting. So for me, I've noticed that I'm getting approached or getting seen by curators or people doing events on social media, and quite a number of calls for submission now. They just want your links, and they want to see what you've been doing to promote yourself, because a lot of arts organizations especially, want to see that you're doing some of that work, so they don't have to do it all if they're going to partner with you for a show, for example. And I mean, literally, one of the curators I met with said, I need to see that you're doing just as much to get your name out there, because it helps me when you have the show if I'm going to try and sell your work.
I do with you. Yeah, I do agree with you there.
For me, bottom line on that end, in terms of like, am I making sales from it? But is it furthering my agenda on some level?
No, I agree with you there. And I do feel, and I have to say, at this point, I feel that this is one of the few useful parts of social media is that communication with galleries and being able to have a direct line to galleries and curators and people. It is a place where you can approach them more easily, and you can have a conversation with them, get to know them without like pushing your art in their face.
Yeah, and especially since most of them, they're on there, open to seeing somebody's new work or something that they haven't seen before. So there's like a little opening on that score because they're there. And like Stephanie says, my son tells me I'm wasting my time if I'm not on TikTok, because TikTok's the only one that really matters. So it depends on what demographic are you aiming at, what result do you want. So for me, for example, I've been investing more time on LinkedIn because I would like to make those professional contacts with curators and people in museums and people doing sustainability and eco and environmental events. Because that's what I know. Like Denise says, okay, so I want to get face to face with these people to actually make my sales. So I'm using it kind of maybe as a conduit to connecting with the kind of events that I feel are right for me.
I just feel like that is so difficult to, because I agree with you. It is, in that regard, I feel, and that's one of the reasons why I invest so much time in it. I feel it is important for those things. But on the other hand, I feel I'm so apprehensive every day to go on it, because you have to wade through this whole sea of like the NFT comments and the messages and the weird people that send you dick pics and shit. Like,
I'm not that lucky.
I mean, or the creepy messages, and maybe that's because I'm a woman on the internet. I don't know, but that's just
probably.
That does not bring me joy.
I think it just comes with almost like being a woman in public, in a sense, like we just sort of are expected to take it on the shoulder all the damn time.
Yeah, but we we get female attention as well. I actually think they're males behind the female attention that I'm getting, but I don't know when you guys post stories if you get all of those look my story, sexy this, sexy that, the women on there. Do you guys get that?
I get
it
that.
almost
No.
every single story. No? Oh my gosh. And it's someone different, right? It's
Equal opportunity.
oh my gosh. It's just like, oh, block. I don't know how many accounts I block a day. Anyway.
Yeah, I had one once where at first we were having a conversation and all of a sudden he was sending me pictures from his breakfast table with an empty chair and he's like, I'm having breakfast, your place is empty. I'm like, this is scary, I'm going to block you. This is creepy.
On the other hand, there's the positives. Like, I think Cheryl could speak to some of the positives about people mentioning her work when they came to her show, right, Cheryl?
Yeah. I believe that it's a great way for people to get to know you, and they can see you and they can learn a lot about you, especially through video. And if you show them what you're doing, where you are, and if you're just talking to people, and it's as simple as even taking your phone down the street, showing them where you live, what you do. And I think that it shows a lot about you so that people feel as if they know you. And well, you're telling people about you. And I find that people will not buy art from me if they don't like me. So it builds up a lot of that familiarity. They feel as if they know me. They feel as if I had 2 comments. I can't believe it. I pretty much walk down the beach. I go pretty much to the same cafe, have breakfast. The same people were there. Last week, 2 people said to me, I see you on the community page. I want to tell you that I really like your work, but I'm no good at social media. And I had 2 people say that.
Wow.
I mean,
I admire you doing all that. I feel personally that I like there to be a little bit of a boundary between my personal life and my life on social media. I don't feel like I want to share everything. I also have
my street in Vancouver. People would never tune in again.
I didn't
Really? I want to see the street now.
Oh, you can look it up. It's the tent cities in the downtown east side. No one wants to see that.
No one wants to see
No. So there's a whole lot of my life that there's not much that, that I don't really want to show because
unless Rose, maybe it helps to inform something greater about what you're saying.
Oh, I would get even more strange weirdness. I'm absolutely certain of it. I would just be opening myself to people who respond to stigma and weirdness, even though it's not my stigma or weirdness, like it's just,
Let's not forget
you do have to be judicious about what you share, essentially. Like you can't just share everything. And there are people on social media that share everything and they just seem like unfortunate souls to me.
Even pictures of their food.
For real.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it. I'm very conflicted about the whole thing right now. Just because personally, I feel like I don't want to be spending all this time on it because I've already set for myself that I don't touch any social media on the weekend. Yeah, just for my personal mental hygiene.
I think
I just
considerations as well because I don't have a partner to shoot of any of what I do, so I find it very awkward to be doing all my stuff and trying to shoot myself at the same time. So I really don't shoot the juicy parts because let's face it, I'm trying to collect and forage. And there's just no way I can shoot that unless someone else is shooting it of me, which I don't have. So there's practical considerations because I see some beautiful videos online, but someone else was holding the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's exhausting because I'm always carrying my I have these things all over my studio. And whenever I'm working, I'm always carrying my phone and trying to move things around so I can shoot stuff. And it's exhausting. It takes away so much of my painting time and my painting concentration also.
It is. I find that especially when I'm doing my botanical printing, it's very intensive And I mean, I have gloves on and I'm in chemistry. And if I stop, my leaves get dry. And I just like, if I have to stop and mess with the camera constantly, then it's literally going to interfere with the process. So forget that. I'll just get what I can sometimes.
Ross, how about you? Where are you at with this?
Well, I'm essentially antisocial, so it puts me in a weird place with social media. First of all, anything that I've ever sent out, I never get, weird, crazy people that are interested in whatever you guys are getting. I don't get anything like that. At most, I get crickets. Well, not at most,
Just
Oh, I get those too.
create some
but I mean,
stories. And you'll
I
see
never
what I'm
get
talking
anything
about.
that's like colorful like you're talking about, even though it's like completely like out there and truly weird and scary. And I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Okay. What I found when I've been trying like incrementally, like everything. I'm like molasses, but I can't get like in order to get the what's it called, like the focal point or the viewpoint or like the long shot or something. It's like I have to like move everything around. I got that when between Rose and Denise talking. It's like, oh yeah, it's like I can't shoot myself and then move over here. It's like that's how I do it. It's like I'm working on 3 or 4 things at a time. I'm jumping from literally like 15 feet away. I can't do it, and I don't want anybody else here because it's like just not going to work for me. So that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, we
And
need like a team, each of us, right?
Yeah,
that's an
you
interesting
do.
idea, isn't it? Like
I'm
artists
doing these.
co-op.
I started a new little project where my husband sent me these. I'm calling it a thrift store art challenge, where every week Sunny gives me an item from the thrift store, and I get 4 hours to transform it into something not what it was.
Cool.
This
And
sounds
it's
great.
supposed to be something artsy. And I've been trying to videotape that, but many of these things are either metal or wood. So it ends up me having to saw and to do things outside, which means that, and of course I want to videotape this because it makes for a cool video, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
so cool,
dragging my
Denise. That's a
camera
great project.
constantly like outside and inside and outside. And then I have to clip the thing to the ceiling because you need to be able to see my hands, what I'm doing. Then I also need to be able to talk to the camera. It's exhausting.
That's exhausting.
But that's a really cool project.
It's a cool
Wow.
project.
I
Okay,
want to
here's
see
a
that actually.
here's a product, a drone, a little drone,
Yeah.
right? That's like a little robotic puppy or birdie or something that comes with you and films you,
And does things.
Yeah.
does things. How else
things.
we're going to solve that other than
With like
start a little
cool
co-op,
dolly moves on the camera. and
Yeah.
everything, right?
right?
Yeah, I saw one of those cleaning robots going through the airport the other day. I was like, I need one of those, but then with a camera, and it needs to be smaller because it needs to be moving through my studio. My studio's not that large.
Okay,
I
that's
did-
another store we have to go and get lost in now.
I did see an item that was like a dome, and you put not a dome, but anyways, you put the camera on the top, and it's supposed to have enough whatever smarts to follow you.
Wow.
I don't know,
But
just
there's always a
imagine
GoPro, Denise. But
Yeah.
GoPro.
get a
Do you
photo
wear
of
that?
yourself though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could wear
With
one.
like
I had one.
with an angled head that moves.
Yeah,
Camera.
actually,
Yeah.
actually, it's like when you go to the dentist and they've got that light and it's on that wonderful arm
Yeah.
that they can. Do you know how they just pull it so easily around and they go like that? That's it.
That's what we need.
a
Something like that.
gyroscope.
Well, those great sort of they're all jointed beautifully and.
Well, then, I mean, what we're actually hitting on is a very salient point when you're talking about social media as a visual artist, because it involves other skills. So we're not necessarily trained in cinematography and photography and getting clear audio and any of that stuff. And we're all
Pressing
learning.
buttons and making them work.
We're learning by the seat of our
That's just me.
pants, unless people have that kind of training. And you can tell in those slick videos who does and who doesn't. And who knows how to use Photoshop, and who, like me, knows how to use it but can't be bothered to waste even more time then I already did, like Denise said, just figuring out where the camera, turn it on, turn it off, and take that time to make the post. I mean, like Stephanie said, also, we have to measure like what is valuable in our time of our day, especially as we're trying to be creative and be productive.
Okay.
On another,
Yes, to you, Cheryl. That's where I wanted to go, because we've already said, like, okay, 4 of us, it's like you might be doing it, and it's like hard work and kind of not paying dividends. But Cheryl, you're both getting dividends, and the quality of your social media is good. So is it Australia? Is it you?
I feel as if it's a little bit like I noticed when I had my exhibition on, there was an art prize. There's the art prize on. So everybody's always really concerned that I'm not going in the art prize, but I was just busy and I forgot about it. And when I was teaching, we used to have Art Express. So we had 67,000 kids present their work, and we would choose Art Express, which was diverse. Now that was the criteria. It was diverse. This art show has the same concept, the diversity. So they choose work from so many different genres. It's just so diverse. So I'm there, and there was an elderly gentleman walked in, and his ego was shattered. He'd been represented in it the last 11 times. Why did they leave me out? The next day, I had to hand up the gallery to another 6 or so artists, the same sort of situation. One of them was absolutely destroyed, that her work didn't get in and whatever. So I always sort of have this feeling with artists is that we all know people who are really talented, who don't get, who don't seem to be getting anywhere, and equally we know that other people who are not so talented, who seem to have massive followings. And so I think that sometimes the difference is it's marketing and it's mindset. I because we've all got different sort of ideas, and so I almost feel, I feel that you really have to embrace it, because I actually believe that people have to get to know you. And I don't know any other way, because the Uber driver doesn't buy many art. doesn't buy a lot of art. And I just feel as if it's a way of getting out there. So
it is
definitely.
I mean, we didn't have this way before social media. We had to,
and
taking an ad out was very costly.
Yeah. And I feel as if it's a way to actually almost to jump over the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
You can actually invite people into your studio. Perhaps if you like, you could, I've heard you guys talk about the artist walks. So you can invite people into the studio. You can perhaps do it on a regular basis. It can be a bit more irregular, but at least you can get out and, something that you like. Well, why don't you come along and see it in person? I mean, you have all these opportunities and also you can actually pin your stuff. And I can actually post, I think my daughter did all this work with her photo shoots for her Christmas range. And I think within the first 2 hours, she sold an amazing amount of money. But then she discovered a Facebook group to do with Christmas. She actually posted on that. It had 60,000 people who were in this particular group. And heaven knows how she's ever going to get through Christmas, because the orders are just incredible. She was able to tap into the Christmas group. Now, that's taken her years to do that.
And what is it, a Christmas range, you said? What's that?
My daughter produces candles. So her studio it's called Studio Billy. And so she sort of posted all these beautiful boxes with Christmas candles in them and other bits and pieces.
Nice.
But I'm just saying, and I mean, the text that I'm getting, oh, Mum, I'm just so exhausted. I can't do this. And I'm sort of saying, well, don't feel exhausted, feel proud, because the amount of work you've done is huge. And they've just bought a house, and so I'm always trying to sort of tell her how incredibly hard she's working, which she is. She's working incredibly hard. But I see these little things like that happen, which I know they wouldn't have happened otherwise. I mean, when you're at home, but I understand the time sucks. So I just sort of see it as another way of developing. And on the 18th of October, I have a video for artists, online thing for an hour.
Launch?
No. How to why videoing is such a great medium, or videoing yourself, or showing up in video. and how it's really valuable for people to get to know you. I mean, sort of embrace it. So I see it as just as a component. My skills, my marketing skills, I mean, my tech skills were non-existent. And now I can do these sorts of things. I mean, if I can learn, anyone else can.
And you know what, Cheryl? I remember you saying that your tech skills are kind of showing
dismal.
or saying that your tech skills were really, not advanced or really basic kind of thing when we had our course, right?
Yeah, they
Whatever
were.
it was, 3 years ago almost. No, well, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, and now look at you. Now you're
Yeah.
give a webinar on it or an online course on it. Good for you.
Well, there you go. And so I see that as part of my development also. That's integrated.
Yeah.
That's integral with that.
Yeah, and you're true, and you're right. It is a means, a medium to get our story across that we didn't used to have. Like you used to have a book or a catalog or something printed or an interview or whatever to actually get your artist story, your artist statement out there. But now anybody who's interested can tap into our social media and find out what it is, right? Oh, yay!
Hi, Lara. What about IA?
Hi,
Hi, Lara.
Hi, Lara.
And perhaps if we embraced IA, we might be able to even make it a little bit easier for ourselves to duplicate.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
just
If we embrace the IAA, would be even better.